Abeokuta has warned that the contractor handling the ongoing construction at the Ogere corridor of Lagos-Ibadan Expressway will be held responsible for the incessant accidents which occur in the section of the road due to slow pace of work. Governor Abeokuta said this when he visited the accident scene at Ogere section of the highway, which claimed lives of 5 people, while also affecting 2 tankers laden with petroleum products, a truck laden with foodstuff and another transporting coal. Governor's Office correspondent Yusuf Ganiu reports will bring you details in the course of the bulletin. Moving to other stories, the federal government has earmarked more than 26 million naira for the rehabilitation of Hildat Nsuka Road, an 84-kilometer road linking Kogi and Enugu State. But also, the Federal Capital Territory Authority got the backings of the Federal Executive Council in the step towards reducing traffic congestion of roads to the FCT at Wednesday's Federal Executive Council meeting. Ministers who memoranda got approval of the Federal Executive Council are the Ministers of Works and Housing, Babatunde Raji Fashola, Federal Capital Territory Mohammed Bello, and Minister of Interior Rauf Aregbesola, as well as the Minister of State for Education, Chukwuemeka Nwajoba.
Of a Federal University of Health Sciences was approved and is to be sited in Otupo, Benue State.
To the Minister of Works and Housing, who presented 2 memos, the Council approved the request to appoint a consultant to undertake the supervision consultancy for the construction of the Bodo-Bernu Road and bridge previously awarded by the Council.
What the contractor is doing, the supervision consultancy was awarded at the sum of 895,250,000 naira.
Minister of Interior Rauf Aregbesola also got approval for the 2 memos he presented to the Council.
And Prison Services Board, Act Cap 12, Law of the Federation of Nigeria, LFN, 2004, and equally sought the approval for the enactment of the Civil Defense, Correctional, Federal Service and Immigration Services Board, CDCFIB, Bill 2021, at today's FEC.
Minister of Federal Capital Territory Mohammed Bello says the demolition of illegal structures will be a continuous exercise without compensation for all those who contravened the authentic plan of the federal capital.
For the procurement of a light-duty towing truck, including a 10-ton crane attachment for the Directorate of Road Traffic Services under the Federal Capital Territory Administration. And this contract has been awarded at a total contract sum of 286,302,277 naira 50 kobo.
The population of the Federal Capital Territory is increasing by the day, and so are crimes and criminality. FCT Minister Mohammed Bello says measures have been taken to ensure adequate protection of lives and property. Not less than 75 people have benefited from the donation of cash prizes and empowerment programs donated to health care facilities in Abeokuta South local government area of the state. This was to mark and celebrate the first 100 days in office of the administration in the local government, led by the chairman of the local government, Honorable Ayodele Omolaja Majekodumi. Margaret Okunola has the details.
The first 100 days in office of an administration is considered a yardstick to measure the effectiveness and efficiency in its early days. Celebrating its first 100 days in office, as well as highlight its achievements so far, Abeokuta local government area of Ogun State organized a ceremony to mark the occasion, and it was held at the council's secretariat with eminent dignitaries, political office holders, All Progressive Congress Party leaders and faithfuls, directors and local government employees in attendance. The chairman of the local government, Honorable Ayodele Majakodomi, presented the scorecard of his administration.
Since we have assumed office, we thank God for the grace of God, and we believe that we have performed a lot of things in the local government. We have did empowerment, we have do palliative, we have construct a local open shop at the Toku market, which we are going to commission tomorrow by special grace of God. Then we are intent to lay the foundation laying tomorrow for the marking of our 100 days in office. In terms of IGR, I make sure that I improve IGR of the local government.
Honorable Majakodomi promised that more developmental plans are underway by his leadership for the progress and development of the local government.
My plan for the next 1 year, which I will start very soon, I want to commission the lock-up shop at Kuto Market, which very soon we are going to lay the foundation. We want to improve in education, Greek.
Dignitaries present gave kudos to the administration for the achievements so far.
It's difficult to assess someone in 100 days, but so far what we have seen here today is the willingness to touch the lives of the people, the willingness also to enhance all the health centers in its local domain, and also empowering our aged, which is what we all stand for and believe in.
My advice is for our people to embrace him, to support him, because without their support, it can't go anywhere. So we need their support.
If we are to assess the government of the Honorable Ayodele Majakodomi, within the 100 days in office, administratively, I would say he's doing quite well.
The celebration kicked off with a comprehensive healthcare program for the aged. Other highlights of the event were presentation of cash gifts to old people above 65 years and distribution of healthcare equipment to healthcare facilities in the local government. Margaret Okunola, Ogtv News.
The World Health Organization, WHO, and the United States Center for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, has expressed worry over increase in unvaccinated children, saying no fewer than 22 million infants missed their first dose of measles vaccines. In a new report by the duo of WHO and US CDC, they noted that while reported measles cases have fallen compared to previous years, progress towards measles elimination continues to decline and the risk of outbreaks mounting. The report noted that during 2020, more than 22 million infants missed their first dose of measles vaccine, 3 million more than in 2019, marking the largest increase in 2 decades and creating dangerous conditions for outbreaks to occur. Compared with the previous year, reported measles cases decreased by more than 80% in 2020, the report added. The National Primary Healthcare Development Agency says more than 5.8 million have received their first dose of COVID-19 vaccine since the commencement of the vaccination. Mrs. Deborah Oladipo, the Kwara coordinator, disclosed this in Ilorin on the sidelines of the mass COVID-19 vaccination in the state. According to her, a total of over 5 million Nigerians, or 5.3% of the overall eligible population, have taken the dose, while over 3 million, or 2.9%, have received their second dose and are fully vaccinated. She said the overall population of eligible persons targeted for COVID-19 vaccination to enable the country reach herd immunity against the disease is over 100 million. Oladipupo observed that there will continue to be mass movement of people into and across the state, and that there would also be interstate movement and gatherings in forms of parties and celebrations. Still ahead, Senate passes Real Estate Regulation and Development Bill 2021. Join us in Part 2 for details. You're still watching the Ogtv News. Dozens of armed policemen in 4 patrol vans have taken over the entry and exit point of the All Progressives Congress National Secretariat in Abuja. It was gathered that the policemen, who were complemented by officers of the Department of State Service, are at the location to forestall a possible breakdown of law and order. The report added that security officials mobilized in response to security reports about a planned protest by members of the APC against the party's leadership over the conduct of the recently conducted ward, local government, and state congresses. On Monday, 15th November 2021, Nigerians woke up to the news that the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, is planning to go on a 3-week industrial action. Among other issues raised by the union was a call on government to honor past agreement bordering on infrastructure development and funding, as well as the emolument of its members, amongst others. The issue of insecurity across the country was not left out on the issues raised. To discuss these on Ogtv News tonight is engineer Abeokuta, an educationist and public analyst. Engineer Fijabi will join us in the studio after this report by Adefowora Adesonwo.
November 2021, the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, announced its readiness to embark on another round of industrial action following what it called government unfaithfulness in implementation of the Memorandum of Action, MOU, it signed with the union, upon which the last industrial action was suspended. ASU's national president, Professor Emmanuel Oshodeke, stated this after a 2-day National Executive Council NEC meeting at the University of Abuja on Sunday, 14th November 2021. The union argued that despite its meeting with the Minister of Labor and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige, on 14th October 2021 on the major outstanding issues, including funding for revitalization of public universities and academic allowances, University Transparent Accountability Solution of 2009, ASU's FGN agreement, and the inconsistencies in the IPPIS payments, the issues are still lingering. Oshodeke boasted that ASU was fully committed to upholding academic integrity in Nigerian universities.
All along, we have been waiting for a white paper from government, at least to show that they are ready to implement the agreement. But since that time, the paper has not been signed, and even it has not been released.
What ASU has said is that it's giving the government 3 weeks ultimatum to meet up with the demands of the union. They signed a memorandum of action before we suspended the strike last year. And this is 12 months, 12 calendar months. And we are still not getting, if not all, at least a substantial part of what we signed.
The union called on all patriotic Nigerians and lovers of Nigeria to prevail on the federal government to act fast to prevent another round of industrial action in Nigerians' public universities. So a number of Nigerian students in the public universities in Nigeria, ASU does not make empty promises when it comes to strike.
I feel like at this point, I don't know what ASU should do, because government have not answered them in a very long time, and that's since the agreement since December last year, and I hope that the government answers them this time, because another strike will really just mess everything up again.
How do you react to ASU going on strike?
That won't happen, sir.
Eh?
That won't happen.
Okay,
I'm trusting Mr. President this time.
Tired of school. I just want to graduate.
It's more or less like 10 steps backward more.
They say it is not premature for debate to start in order to halt the planned warning strike.
I feel like ASU is on the last straw right now.
So I would implore them to try and find best possible means to avert the strike and, have a discussion with the NASU leadership.
Nigerians running brick businesses around university campuses, particularly FUNAB Abeokuta, are already jittery.
Well, for us to go on strike again, it will be a serious problem. One, to the students, and also to we as a businessman in this environment.
Please, we beg, we don't have anything to say that to beg the pardon of the government. People, please.
No doubt, an industrial action at this moment should be averted because of its grave consequences on the socio-economic well-being of the people.
That was a report by Adefowora Adesomo of our News and Current Affairs Division. Now we have Engineer Abeokuta in the studio to talk about the ASU and the federal government face-off. Don't forget, on Monday, ASU threatened to embark on another strike. And the first question I will ask Engineer Fijabi is, if you look at the genesis of the crisis between ASU and the federal government, is it really worth it? Should it have happened in the first place? Don't forget that since we returned to democracy, ASU has embarked on, in 1999, ASU has embarked on strike 15 times.
15? You've been counting. Good. Well, I don't think it's necessary. It shouldn't be. It's uncalled for, really, because there was an agreement in 2009, which a memorandum of understanding signed with the ASU, which the government committed itself to, and the government had reneged severally about that. That led to the crisis of last year, which lasted for 9 months, and the strike was called off December 23rd, 2020. I think ASU is trying to look at what will happen if a year after nothing has been done on that agreement. You will recall that there were some basic understanding between the two of them. In any negotiation, 3 issues are very important. The people negotiating, do they have the powers to make decisions? In this case, those on the federal government side had the power to make decisions. You have the Minister of Labor and then other top government officials. And then is there a faith? Do they have faith that this is going to be done? Whatever it is that we agree upon, we're going to be able to implement. And the third will be the commitment to that agreement. And it will look like in the 2 issues that I've mentioned, the government had reneged. You remember there was another meeting on October 14th? Yeah, in preparation. I mean, just to ask the minister whether things are still going to be the way they discussed it, and then the minister had not come up with anything until yesterday. When the minister.
Before we go there, before we talk about the minister's promise, that they will pay tomorrow.
Wednesday.
Today, Wednesday, yeah. Thank you. Do you think maybe the federal government thinks ASU is just being unrealistic with the demands? What's your take on that? Maybe.
If you think, you need to negotiate in faith, out of faith. If you do not negotiate in faith, if you felt committed, you felt really concerned about what ASU was asking for, then put your card on the table and say, we're sorry, no matter how long you want to stay on this strike, we are ready for it because we are committed to not paying this amount of money. But once you've already agreed, you are duty bound to follow the agreement.
Yes, I asked that question because of the demands of ASU.
I know.
Talking about the allowances, what is it called?
And
the
allowance.
revitalization,
Revitalization of the universities,
yes,
yes.
And so much more. And
Yeah.
the federal government has been claiming the fund is not just there. They cannot just afford it. The federal government says it cannot afford it. So they renegotiated, and the federal government actually paid the first tranche.
Okay.
The federal
30
government,
billion.
yes, now they are waiting for the 22.972 billion naira now.
The 30 billion, which they said they had paid, they said it has been allocated, and it is sitting in an allocated space within the CBN, but it has not been disbursed to the public universities. When you have money in your pocket, when you have money somewhere, stored somewhere, and the money is not where you can use it for whatever purpose you want to use it, then you don't have the money yet.
Well, no. Shortly after after ASU threatened to embark on a 3 weeks warning strike.
3 weeks, yes.
3 weeks warning strike. The Minister of Labour, Ngige, now said the money will be disbursed today. Do you think it's another political statement?
Yeah, Wednesday, I don't know. Maybe you've had the latest news on that because the day has not ended yet. So I like to give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe by 12 midnight or a minute to 12 midnight, the universities will receive alerts as to that. But as I'm talking to you now, there have been no information as to the release of that fund. That's the revitalization fund. All right, that is these earned academic allowance.
Yes.
All right, you have to negotiate in faith, out of faith. You have to be able to say, this is what we are capable of doing, and then you can look at each other in the face and say, sorry, we can't afford this. But once you have accepted to pay that, then you are duty bound to pay it.
No. Another thing is, should the federal government wait for issues to reach the climax before listening, attending to ASU?
Well, I don't know what to believe anymore now, but seriously, I'm going to wait till the end of the day before I can judge the Minister of Labor. But what he said on television was that the federal government will not allow this to happen. And he went ahead to say that there will be the disbursement of those funds so that we will prevent this from happening.
That was not the first time the minister promised them.
All right. There's something you do because you love this nation so much. You want to just give him the benefit of the doubt again and say, all right, as academicians, as as ASU member, I'm not an ASU member, but as people who love this country, members of ASU should be able to say, okay, all right, we will give the minister the benefit of the doubt and see whether he will keep his promise or not this time, because he made it public.
Now, one of the things ASU is fighting for is infrastructure in universities.
That's right.
Yes, so would you say, if you look at the universities in the country, are they where they should be? Talk about infrastructures. Most of them are in conditions that just shouldn't be talked about.
Yep, I should know because a few months ago I attempted to do a PhD in one of Nigerian universities, and it wasn't a pleasant experience. And it's one of the reasons where I withdrew, because the classrooms were untidy and the facilities were not there. And there was a class that they had to cram about 400 into a room, and each of us was supposed to have a computer in front of us, and I was never lucky to be able to have a working computer in front of me at any particular time. And the PA system in the room did not cover the entire room. And being a 64-year-old man, I couldn't struggle with the younger people. And I, like Wole Soyinka said, wrote, I conversed with my heels.
Now, let's take a look at the implications of the strikes, not just the education system now, but the country at large.
Yeah, I mean, when you have the frequent strikes happening on campuses, what you do is that you expose the students to all kind of vices, and the devil finds work for idle hands, and before you know it, armed robbery will be on the increase. Before you know it, prostitution will be on the increase. Some other vices. So the implications are immense.
Okay, finally, what is your suggestion on ways out?
Let the government be man enough to be able to say, we made a mistake, Hasu. We are going to renegotiate with you. And this time we mean it. Or if they are going to be honest, they can say, all right, we will pay all of this money. And if you don't pay by Friday, go on strike the following day. Don't even wait for 3 weeks.
Okay.
That will restore their honor, which I think at this time is suspect.
Thank you so much, Engineer
You're welcome.
Fijabi.
My pleasure.
Those Engineer Fijabi are an educationist and public analyst on ASU and the federal government face-off. We surely appreciate your coming. And now to other stories. Labour and Employment Minister Chris Ngige has assured Nigerians that the federal government will prevent another strike by university lecturers. The Academic Staff Union of Universities had on Monday issued a 3-week ultimatum to the federal government to meet its demands or risk a fresh shutdown of the universities. The union accused the government of failing to implement the 2020 Memorandum of Action it signed before it called off its 9-month strike then. Some of ASU's demands include non-release of 30 billion naira funds for the revitalization of public universities, non-release of 22.1 billion naira earned academic allowances, non-payment of outstanding promotion arrears, lack of progress in the renegotiation of 2009 ASU federal government agreement, inconsistency in integrated personnel payroll information system payment, and slow pace in the deployment of University Transparency Accountability Solution, UTAS. But Ngige assured the nation that the grievances of the lecturers will be addressed in the next 2 weeks. The minister said the payment of the 30 billion naira revitalization fund and 22.1 billion naira earned allowances will be paid before the expiration of the ultimatum. Let's now go back to our earlier story on the governor's visit to Ogiri. Ogun State Governor Prince Dakwa Abeokuta has warned that the contractor handling the ongoing construction at the Ogiri corridor of Lagos-Ibadan Expressway will be held responsible for the incessant accidents which occur in the section of the road due to slow pace of work. Governor Abeokuta said this when he visited the accident scene at Ogiri section of the highway, which claimed lives of 5 people, while also affecting 2 tankers laden with petroleum products, a truck laden with foodstuff, and another transporting coal. Governor's office correspondent Yusuf Ganiu reports.
The fire outbreak occurred early morning of Wednesday, 17th of November, 2021 at Ogiri Remo in Ogun State, along the ever-busy Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. The accident claimed the lives of 5 people, while it affected 2 tankers laden with petroleum products, a truck laden with foodstuff, and another transporting coal. Ogun State Governor Prince Dakwa Abeokuta and members of the state's Executive Council arrived at the scene to see the extent of damage and what needs to be done to avert such situation in the future. Governor Abeokuta commiserated with the families of the deceased and said he was going to take up the issue with the Minister of Works in order to find a lasting solution to the perennial occurrence in the axis.
This construction itself has been too protracted. We've been at this spot several times. We've had several such incidents occur around this area, within a kilometer of this area. Some have been much more fatal than this. Something definitely needs to happen. I am so pained that for the 2nd or 3rd time this year, we are converging here to witness yet another accident. And this one could have been so much worse. We've had 5 fatalities today. This is clearly unnecessary. I'm going to take this up with the Honorable Minister of Works.
He further enjoined residents and road users in the axis to cooperate with the traffic officers and security agencies by adhering to their directives and to also stay away from the scene of the accident, as arrangements were being made to transfer the petroleum products in the affected tankers in order to prevent another accident.
And now we know that one side of the expressway has now been closed around this area, and this one side that is meant to be outbound from Lagos, inbound to Ibadan, has now been turned into a dual carriageway. Let us drive responsibly. Let us be more cautious and responsible as we are driving. Let us take into consideration other road users.
The State Commissioner for Transportation, Engineer Gbenga Dairu, also reflected on the strategy to ensure people traveling from Ibadan to Lagos are relieved from the stress of the road.
So now, as a result of the fact that those trucks were still laden with fuel, the emergency authorities have advised that we have to wait until those cargo cools down before they can be towed away from this particular site. Needless to say, that itself is causing a lot of traffic on this corridor at the moment.
Security agencies present at the scene of the accident also lent their voices, particularly on measures to save motorists and commuters on the highway from carnages.
We are also conscious of the fact that some undesirable elements might want to take advantage of the situation. We shall not allow that. We will ensure that we provide security for the motoring public. The RCC construction on the road has stopped to allow the traffic to move. I want to urge all other stakeholders to continue the synergy to ensure that we restore normalcy on this expressway.
Drivers going through the axis were also advised to take their time when they are driving through this area, now that one side of the road has now been closed. Yusuf Ganiyu, Ogtv News.
The row over the payment of $419 million to Paris Club loan refund consultant is yet to abate, following the insistence of governors to resolve the crisis by litigation. It was gathered that the governors have a closed political solution to the matter because the dispute was already at the Court of Appeal. According to findings, the governors resolved to pursue the case for the sake of prosperity. They also said the deduction of the $419 million cash from the Federation account monthly may put some states in distress. The governors are said to be in possession of a report by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to strengthen their case in court. Dividends of democracy is all about identifying the needs of the people and preferring solutions to them without delay. This was the comment of the Alake and paramount ruler of Egbaland, Oba Adedotun Aremu Gbadebo, while interacting with community leaders of Ijaye and Olorun Shogo areas in Abeokuta, Ogun State. Adebola Oshomoji reports that the community leaders paid homage to the monarch to show appreciation for facilitating federal government intervention to solve an ecological problem within the two communities. Her report.
High-intensity rainfall early this year resulted in flash flood in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, destroying many private properties and public utilities. Residents of wetland and flood-prone areas were advised to temporarily relocate to a safe environment to avoid the impacts of the downpour. The devastation caused by the flood made the Alake and paramount ruler of Egbaland, Oba Adedotun Aremu Gbadebo, facilitate a federal government intervention to the affected areas, Ijaye and Olorun Shogo communities. The engineers on site talked about the completion time of the project.
For the past, weeks, and we've achieved much. We've achieved 2 bus covers, one at Olorun Shogo here, where we are, and one at Gbangba. So, and presently we are entering the channel that will link from Olorun Shogo down to Gbangba and to some extent of Kutohin. By God's grace, before, let me say, the first 3 weeks of January next year, we should be rounding up here.
In showing appreciation for this and to facilitate the monarch on his 16th year coronation anniversary, the Ijaye and Olorunshogo community leaders paid him homage and commended his commitment to the well-being of Egbaland.
Through the instrumentality of Kabiyesi, that project is approved and brought to Olorunshogo by the Ecological Ministry, Federal Ecological Ministry, for his concern over the Ijaye and Olorunshogo people, made him to contribute his effort into the building or into the construction of the bridges.
In his response, Obagbadebo reiterated his commitment to the development of Egbaland.
Where we will not rest until every part of Egbaland is safe. So we will continue to do that for every other area that has problem.
He equally urged people living in swamping parts of the two communities to relocate until the construction is completed.
They should always go to the higher ground, not a place that is below the level of their water, the annual rainfall that they experience in that place. But wherever they have moved to the higher grounds and they are still suffering, then we would ask government to come and have a look at it and to solve the problem.
Ijaye and Olorunshogo are two of the communities regularly in danger of floods whenever it rains heavily in Abeokuta. Adebola Oshomoji, Ogtv News.
The annual AG Leventis Egba Scholarship Scheme put together as part of activities marking the coronation anniversary of the Alake and paramount ruler of Egbaland, Oba Adedotun Aremu Gbadebo, is to support best brains in Egbaland towards uplifting their academic pursuits. Another edition of the event was held at the Ake Palace. Bumi Adigun reports.
Ake Palace, the seat of Alake and paramount ruler of Egbaland, Oba Dr. Adedotun Aremu Gbadebo, Okukeno IV, wearing a new look in preparation for another coronation anniversary. One of the programs used to mark this event over the years is the AG Leventis Egba Scholarship Award for distinguished sons and daughters of Egbaland in various fields of studies. AG Leventis is a large Nigeria-based conglomerate established in 1937 and has a long history of doing business, will contribute the highest counterpart funding for the award and will be supported by all the zones in Egbaland.
They want to be sure that more Egba children have good education.
The conglomerate this year increased the funding from 8 million to 10 million naira, and with addition from all the zones, 67 best brains will be honored at this year's scholarship award.
Drawn from the 6 LGs in Egbaland, who scored 71% and above, we are recommended by the selection panel to the Board of Management to receive this year's scholarship.
Undergraduates and polytechnic students were supported with a sum of 50,000 naira per session. For master's degree students, 65,000 naira per session, while PhD students went home with 70,000 naira per session.
Well, it's a privilege, I must say, and I'm not taking this for granted. I was beneficiary during my master's degree, and I'm also benefiting as a PhD student too. So it's a very good initiative for Egba indigents, and we are grateful for the privilege.
Having the opportunity to see the elders, hear them talk, it's a great thing. I think that the youths having a connection with the elders is something very important, and they giving back to the society. They're trying to raise us so that we also, when we get to their stage, we can have so much to give. I think it's a great thing, and I'm excited.
Oh my God, I'm so grateful right now. I'm honestly so proud to be an Egba indigene because not all other states indigenes get to experience this. I have other mates in school, they don't experience this. I'm really grateful to all the people that came together to bring about this award.
We don't renew the following year if they don't bring their reports. The progress report from the university showing the CGPA, the cumulative grade point average.
Still in the spirit of honor, Egba Humanitarian and Development Council conferred on Dr. Mrs. Olatokunbo Gbadebo, wife of the Alake and paramount ruler of Egba land, senior citizenship certificate, and an award for Ambassador Toye Okonlawon for their roles in supporting causes-related Egba land. Alake and paramount ruler of Egba land, Oba Adedotun Aremu Gbadebo, while thanking the organizers of the award, also charged beneficiaries of the AG Leventis Egba Scholarship Award to continue to be good ambassadors of the land. This is the 16th year coronation anniversary of the Alake and paramount ruler of Egba land on the throne of his forefathers. Bumi Adigun, Ogtv News.
The numerous programs and commitments of the government in the midst of limited resources have made the collaboration with private sectors and non-governmental organizations like the Rotary Club a necessary tool for development. Commissioner for Information and Strategy in Ogun State, Alhaji Wahid Odushile, made the submission while receiving members and District Governor of Rotary Club, District 9110, Rotarian Remy Bello, in his office at Okemoson, as part of the visit of the District Governor to all the Rotary Clubs under the district. Matthew Shomi reports.
The District Governor of Rotary Club, District 9110, Rotarian Remy Bello, has come to Abeokuta Metro as part of his visit to clubs under the district and is in the office of the Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Alhaji Wahid Odushile, to look for areas of partnership and collaboration in promoting the activities of the club. Alhaji Odushile described Rotary as a development-oriented club that has given so much back to the society.
We know the efforts the Rotary Club made in kicking out polio as of Nigeria. We're also happy about the prostate cancer center we have at OVTH. We don't want it to also limit it to the health sector alone. There are other areas in education, that transportation, so many areas that we can bring about both your resources and expertise to assist, because government alone cannot do everything for the people.
The district governor said the club has been doing a lot to uplift humanity and put smile on the faces of many, and has recognized the genuine desire of the administration to develop the state, which is in accordance with the mission of the club.
We've always been preaching how to build peace into world, conflict resolution, basic education and literacy.
President of Rotary Club, Abeokuta Metro, Rotarian Olatunji Oladevis, said the club has achieved so much in the last 1 year and is set to do more. The entourage then proceeded to St. Peter's Clever 2, Itesi, where Rotary Club, Abeokuta Metro, donated whiteboard markers and exercise books to the school and the pupils, as the pupils and the head teacher of the school showed their appreciation to the club. Olikoye Razon Kuti Memorial Hospital was the next to benefit from the hands of fellowship from the club, with the donation of over 40 bed sheets and other medical items to the hospital. The district governor and Abeokuta Metro president spoke on the essence of the visit.
What you call DJ's visit, where the DJ will use the opportunity of engaging the community where our clubs are. Metro is all about service, it's all about changing lives, it's all about connecting with the people, it's all about affecting our community positively.
The dinner night, which wrapped up the visit, was used to honor some individuals and organizations for the support of the activities of the club. Ogun State Television was presented with an award for being solidly behind the success of the activities of the club. New members were also inducted into the club. Matthew Shomi, Ogtv News.
Rotarian Remy Bello's visit to the State Commissioner for Information leads us to the business segment of the news.
You're welcome to the business segment of the news. The Vice President of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, has indicated that the federal government is now committed to the revitalization and development of the mining sector to attract more local and foreign investment. Disclosing this in his remark at the opening of the 5th annual Nigeria Mining Week discourse series with the theme, Top 7 Reasons to Invest in Nigeria's Mining Sector, Osinbajo stated that within the space of a year, the sector recorded a 26.7% increase in revenue generation from 2019 to 2020, highlighting the inflow of notable investment already recorded in the sector. The Vice President stated that the investment include the Exploration Limited Segilola Gold Mine in Osun State, with an initial production capacity of 80,000 ounces of gold annually, representing the first large-scale gold mine in Nigeria. The effects of the COVID-19 pandemic have brought Nigerian household food security under threat, the World Bank has said. The report showed both the extent of this impact on Nigerians and promising policy options that could accelerate the nation's recovery. The report draws on innovative sources of high-frequency data, namely the Nigerian COVID-19 National Longitudinal Phone Survey to inform the choices that Nigeria's leaders now face. The findings underscored the urgency of far-reaching reforms such as strengthening Nigeria's economy and development outcomes. The e-Naira introduced by the Central Bank of Nigeria as digital currency will reduce the cost of annual diaspora remittances to Nigeria. The International Monetary Fund has said Nigerians in the diaspora remit $24 billion annually. This is between 1 to 5% of the amount being spent constitute remittance fee. IMF country focus released by Jack Ray of the IMF Africa Department identified Nigeria as one of the major remittance destinations in sub-Saharan Africa, with remittance receipt amounting to $24 billion in 2019. That's the end of the business news tonight. Many thanks for watching. Back to Mujisola for the segment of the news.